A Mortal's Journey to Immortality Episode 277. In the previous episode, Han Li and the Seven Great Truths cultivators struggled against the mighty Molin's sacred bird, whose control over the world's spiritual energy made its azure flames nearly unstoppable. Just when the battle seemed at a stalemate, the Yin-Yang devils appeared, their terrifying presence turning the tide and forcing the sacred bird to divide its attention. At the same time, a dark army of copper-armored corpses emerged, spreading fear across the battlefield and pushing the exhausted cultivators to the brink. At the end of the previous episode, a massive 70-meter-tall ape suddenly appeared, radiating raw power as it effortlessly swept through the undead forces. With Han Li finally making his entrance atop the ape, a clash of overwhelming abilities was about to begin, leaving everyone on edge. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. Divine Devilbane Lightning. The black-robed woman shouted in alarm. Her words barely left her lips before the terrifying energy from Han Li's body erupted. Lightning, black as midnight and crackling with raw power, spread outward in all directions, forming a net of electrifying thunder that surged toward her like a living storm. She felt an icy dread crawling along her spine as she realized her attack had not only been countered, but completely anticipated. Her body instinctively transformed into smoke, twisting and flowing in desperate attempts to evade the unrelenting energy. Every move was swift, every evasion measured, but the power emanating from Han Li's body was overwhelming. Han Li, his face calm and emotionless, unfolded his wings and vanished from view, leaving the black-robed woman momentarily disoriented. She remembered the whispered tales of Han Li's prodigious abilities, the way cultivators spoke of him with both awe and fear. Panic seized her, yet she relied on her training and cunning. Her hands moved with precise gestures, weaving a complex incantation that blurred her smoky form. Instantly, 8 identical copies of her appeared, each one indistinguishable from the original, radiating the same aura of danger. They split and scattered in streaks of yellow light, moving in different directions, creating a chaotic storm of illusions meant to confuse and trap her adversary. Yet Han Li's eyes shone with the piercing blue of his Brightsight Spirit Eyes, a gift that allowed him to see through illusions. The scattered streaks were hollow shells, lacking true spiritual energy. Calmly, he focused on the faint traces of life, his heart steady even in the midst of danger. Suddenly, he detected an almost invisible movement approaching from behind, a subtle, nearly imperceptible thread of motion. The black-robed woman had attempted to exploit the distraction she created, aiming to strike him from behind with precision and deadly intent. Bold and capable, she sought a perfect opportunity to turn the tables. But Han Li was prepared. He swiftly redirected his flight toward the enormous ape in the distance, giving the impression he had abandoned pursuit. This bait drew her attention, and the thread of smoke drew closer. Within 10 meters, her form solidified in the air, and a sharp, inch-long blade of yellow light flashed from her hand, aimed directly at his heart. If it connected, Han Li would have been destroyed in an instant. But at the decisive moment, Han Li's eyes locked onto hers. Blue light blazed within his pupils as he unleashed a powerful golden strike from his mouth. The lightning erupted in a brilliant arc, striking the black-robed woman's shoulder with searing force. She screamed, her body thrown violently backward as the air filled with the scent of ozone and burning flesh. Her evasive maneuvers were too slow, too reactive, against the sheer immediacy of Han Li's counterattack. In a blur of motion, Han Li flapped his wings and vanished in a streak of thunder. Seconds later, he reappeared behind her, his hand wrapped in faint blue flames. Pressing it against her neck, a dense layer of ice immediately encased her body. Her movements froze, sensations numbed, and she plummeted helplessly through the air, trapped in the cold embrace of Han Li's power. Lightning arced from his other hand, striking the icy shell with explosive energy, golden light radiating in violent bursts. The black-robed woman's body shattered into countless specks of icy light, disappearing completely. Only her nascent soul remained, caught within the lingering net of thunder and light. It trembled visibly, its pale form quivering with fear of Han Li's Divine Devilbane Lightning. He gazed at it with icy calm, poised to destroy it. when it suddenly cried out, its voice trembling with desperation. "You cannot kill me. I am the Tao companion of the Jin Empire's sifting Yin sect master. If you kill me, my sect will not rest until you are dead." Han Li paused, evaluating the situation carefully. The revelation gave him reason to reconsider. Slowly, he relaxed his grip, allowing the nascent soul to attempt its escape. It surged forward, joy and malice dancing in its eyes. But Han Li's power was precise and unyielding. The net tightened once more, binding the soul with thunderous force. Roaring lightning consumed the nascent soul, turning it to ash before it could flee. Han Li muttered under his breath, a trace of helplessness in his voice. "Now that I've destroyed your body, how could I possibly allow you the chance for revenge?" Meanwhile, the shriveled old spell warrior, who had been racing to the black-robed woman's aid, found himself enveloped by a sudden pink mist. The cloud expanded with unnatural speed, concealing him entirely. As it dissipated, a young, handsome cultivator emerged, Devil Cloudpart of the Harmonious Bond sect. He glanced at Han Li with a faint smile. "Fellow Taoist Han, now that I've helped you, the debt is repaid." Han Li, weary but alert, replied calmly, "It was only chance that I freed you. I wasn't seeking repayment. More importantly, Divine Sage Zhu is beyond the two of us. And he is not alone." Their eyes swept across the battlefield, taking in the vast numbers of spell warriors moving with lethal intent. Even Devil Cloudpart's confident smile faltered as he realized the scale of the opposition. Han Li had previously rescued Devil Cloudpart using 2 lightning beads, but now the Yin Sifting Sect had released vast legions of copper-armored corpses. Curiosity and strategy drove him to release the Weeping Soul Beast, whose body had been fully refined using the Weeping Soul Pearl. The beast rampaged with ferocity, devouring refined corpses with astonishing efficiency. Its power seemed to have evolved, far surpassing previous expectations. Though Han Li and Devil Cloudpart contemplated retreat, the Weeping Soul Beast's destructive momentum kept them engaged. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out across the battlefield. "Have no fear, fellow Taoist Han, since you've released this great beast to deal with the refined corpses. We will help you deal with these spell warriors." Turning, Han Li saw Long Han approaching with a squad of elite cultivators, their bodies radiating brilliant energy. The spell warriors had hesitated, likely recognizing the arrival of reinforcements. Despite a momentary flicker of surprise at Han Li's demon form, Long Han focused on the battle, knowing the stakes were far higher than personal curiosity. The battlefield, battered and bloodied, had reached a critical point. Both sides bore the scars of victories and losses. Exhaustion and determination interwoven in every movement. Long Han had deployed his other forces to occupy Tianzhong, freeing the Tao companion Feng Bing for a separate engagement. Now, with the remaining elites ready, they summoned their magical treasures, bright energy radiating as they prepared for the final clash. Across from them, the spell warriors gathered, summoning spiritual energy to meet the oncoming assault. With Devil Cloudpart and 4 mid-level Nascent Soul cultivators restraining a late Nascent Soul spell warrior, the battle's balance stabilized. Han Li considered joining the attack against the shriveled old man's spell warriors. But when his gaze shifted to the sacred bird, his expression changed drastically, a mix of realization and tension reflecting the new threat emerging before him. In this episode, we saw Han Li face off against a deadly black-robed woman who tried to trick him with illusions in a surprise attack. Using his Brightsight Spirit Eyes and overwhelming Divine Devilbane Lightning, Han Li swiftly defeated her, destroying her body and finally eliminating her nascent soul, leaving no chance for revenge. Along the way, he also freed Devil Cloudpart, unleashed the fully refined Weeping Soul Beast to combat the Yin Sifting Sect's vast army of copper-armored corpses, and prepared for the decisive clash with the spell warriors alongside Long Han and his elite cultivators. The episode showcased Han Li's tactical brilliance, immense power, and unwavering determination in the midst of a chaotic battlefield. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Immortal's journey to immortality. If you enjoyed this episode or found it exciting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications for the latest episodes following Han Li's journey. Thank you for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next video.